The flames of conflict were reignited on April 22, 2025. A devastating terrorist attack ripped through the heart of Indian-administered Kashmir. The target was a bustling marketplace, packed with civilians going about their daily lives. When the dust settled, the world looked on in horror. 26 innocent lives were extinguished, leaving behind a trail of grief and outrage. India was quick to point the finger at Pakistan. They accused their neighbor of harboring and supporting the Islamist militants responsible for the carnage. Pakistan, as they have in the past, vehemently denied any involvement. Instead, they condemned the attack and called for a joint investigation. Public anger simmered, demanding swift and decisive action against those responsible. The attack served as a grim reminder of the ever-present threat of terrorism that casts a shadow over the region. 2 weeks after the devastating attack in Kashmir, India launched its response. On May 7, 2025, the Indian military unleashed a series of precision missile strikes against targets within Pakistan. The operation, codenamed Sindoor, targeted 9 sites that India claimed were terrorist training camps and infrastructure. Indian officials emphasized the targeted nature of their strikes, aiming to dismantle terrorist networks and prevent future attacks. They released footage of what they claimed were successful strikes on their intended targets, though the veracity of these claims was difficult to independently verify. Pakistan, however, painted a very different picture. They claimed that the Indian strikes had caused significant civilian casualties and damaged civilian infrastructure, including mosques and seminaries. The international community watched with bated breath, fearing that the situation could spiral out of control. The specter of a full-blown conflict between 2 nuclear-armed nations loomed large, threatening to engulf the entire region in chaos. The Indian missile strikes did not go unanswered. Pakistan reported 31 deaths and 57 injuries as a direct result of the operation. They claimed that the strikes had indiscriminately targeted civilians, causing outrage and grief across the nation. Adding fuel to the fire, Pakistan claimed to have shot down 5 Indian aircraft during the engagement, including 3 state-of-the-art Rafale jets and 1 unmanned drone. They released grainy images of what they claimed were the wreckage of the downed aircraft, though India vehemently denied these claims. In retaliation for the Indian strikes, Pakistan launched its own artillery strikes across the line of control in Kashmir. These strikes targeted Indian military positions and resulted in 12 civilian deaths and 57 injuries on the Indian side. The exchange of fire between the 2 sides marked one of the most serious escalations in recent history. Both sides accused each other of violating the ceasefire agreement and vowed to retaliate with even greater force if provoked. The international community scrambled to contain the crisis, urging both sides to show restraint and engage in dialogue. As tensions flared between India and Pakistan, the international community watched with growing alarm. World leaders issued urgent calls for restraint and de-escalation. The United Nations, through its Secretary General, pleaded with both sides to step back from the brink and engage in dialogue. The United States, wary of the potential for a catastrophic conflict, stepped in with offers of mediation. President Trump, in a televised address, described the situation as a shame and urged both Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Khan to find a peaceful resolution. China, a close ally of Pakistan, expressed deep regret over India's actions and called for all parties to exercise restraint. Meanwhile, Israel voiced its support for India's right to self-defense, condemning the initial terrorist attack. Other nations in the region, including the UAE and Qatar, echoed the calls for restraint and a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai issued a heartfelt plea for de-escalation, urging both India and Pakistan to prioritize the safety and well-being of civilians caught in the crossfire. Section 5. Preparing for the worst, India's preemptive measures. As tensions with Pakistan escalated, India took proactive steps to prepare for the possibility of a wider conflict. The government ordered nationwide preparedness exercises, simulating various scenarios including air raids, blackouts, and mass evacuations. Air raid sirens, silent for decades, pierced the air in major cities, a chilling reminder of the ever-present threat. Schools and government offices participated in security drills, educating citizens on how to react in emergency situations. Hospitals conducted mock drills to prepare for a potential influx of casualties. The government also ordered the evacuation of vulnerable areas along the border with Pakistan, moving civilians to safer locations. In Indian-administered Kashmir, where the initial attack took place, security forces were on high alert. Checkpoints were reinforced and patrols were intensified. These preparedness measures underscored the seriousness of the situation, reminding everyone that the conflict with Pakistan was a clear and present danger. Section 6. A divided land. The Kashmir conflict's deep roots. To understand the current tensions, one must delve into the historical quagmire that is the Kashmir conflict. The roots of this dispute run deep, entwined with the very birth of India and Pakistan in 1947. When the British Raj came to an end, the former colonial power partitioned the subcontinent into two states along religious lines, Hindu-majority India and Muslim-majority Pakistan. Kashmir, however, presented a conundrum. The region, with its predominantly Muslim population but ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, became a point of contention. The Maharaja's indecision on which nation to join triggered the first of three wars between India and Pakistan over control of Kashmir. The subsequent wars in 1959 and 1971 further solidified the divide, leaving Kashmir a fractured territory. The Line of Control, or LOC, became a de facto border, dividing the region between India and Pakistan. The recent escalation serves as a stark reminder of the unresolved tensions that continue to plague the region. Section 7. Uncertainty reigns. The situation as of May 8, 2025. As dawn broke on May 8, 2025, the situation on the India-Pakistan border remained highly volatile. While the previous day's intense fighting had subsided, the ceasefire remained fragile, and the threat of further escalation loomed large. Both sides continued to accuse each other of violating the ceasefire agreement and vowed to retaliate if provoked. International efforts to de-escalate the situation continued with renewed urgency. The United States, along with other global powers, intensified diplomatic efforts, urging both India and Pakistan to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. The UN Secretary-General called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and offered to mediate talks between the two countries. The atmosphere in both India and Pakistan remained tense. Public anger over the loss of life and the perceived aggression of the other side fueled nationalist sentiments. The immediate priority for the international community remained preventing further bloodshed and a catastrophic escalation of the conflict. Section 8. The Fog of War, Navigating Truth and Propaganda. In the fog of war, truth often becomes the first casualty. The recent escalation between India and Pakistan is no exception. Both sides have engaged in a fierce propaganda war, disseminating information that bolsters their narrative and discredits their adversary. Disinformation and misinformation have flooded traditional and social media, making it challenging to discern fact from fiction. India claims its strikes were surgical, targeting only terrorist infrastructure and minimizing civilian casualties. Pakistan, on the other hand, paints a picture of indiscriminate attacks on civilian areas, showcasing images of casualties and damaged homes. Adding to the confusion, both sides have restricted access to journalists and independent observers, making it harder to obtain unbiased information from the ground. It is crucial for the international community and the global media to approach information from both sides with a critical eye. Section 9. The Long Shadow of Conflict, a Call for Peace. The recent escalation between India and Pakistan highlights the enduring human cost of conflict. Countless individual tragedies lie beyond the headlines. Families torn apart, lives cut short. The people of Kashmir bear the brunt of the suffering. dialogue remains the only viable path to peace.